For the function f of x equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 6, A, find the vertex in the axis of symmetry, and B, graph the function. We'll start by finding the vertex in the axis of symmetry. To do that, we're going to complete the square. We begin by factoring the 2 out of both of the terms that contain an x, and I do that in order so that the coefficient of the x squared term is 1. That gives me x squared plus 2x, and I'll leave some space, and the minus 6 goes at the end. To complete the square, I take half of the x coefficient, which is 2, half of 2, which is 1, square it, and I get 1, so I need to add 1. But I can't just add something to it. I have to balance that by subtracting the 1 back out. The effect of that is adding 0. That's not the form that I want it in, so in the next step, I will just leave inside the parentheses what I want. That's the x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then I will subtract out the 2 times the negative 1, which gives me negative 2 minus 6. At this point I can factor. I have 2 times x plus 1 squared minus 8. And I can read from there that the vertex is negative 1. It's negative 1 because we have to think of this as x minus a negative 1, negative 8. And the axis of symmetry we can read as x equals negative 1. This information will give us enough to go on to part B, graph the equation or graph the function. Let's start by graphing the one point that we know, that's the vertex negative 1, negative 8. And then we'll find a few more points by finding some function values for different values of x. Let's try x being 0, negative 2, 1, and negative 3. Substituting in, we would find that f of 0 is negative 6, f of negative 2 is also negative 6, f of 1 is 0, and f of negative 3 is 0. We know that the parabola opens up because the coefficient of the x squared term is positive. So that'll give us another point of a check anyway. Let's plot these points. 0, negative 6, negative 2, negative 6, 1, 0, and negative 3, 0. We can see that if we connect those, the parabola would open up, and so we can sketch it coming down to the vertex and going back up. As a final step, let's label our graph. We have f of x equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 6.